Coming up tonight on News Watch, a Coles County man is arrested on several counts for child sex crimes.
Also tonight, Crawford County voters consider a new tax to fund schools. We'll have the details. Emily?
Much warmer temperatures are on their way, but only for a few days. Then winter coats will have to make a return and possibly shovels. I'll have the full story coming up. This is News Watch, and your Thursday evening's edition starts now.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection. Commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.
Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon. Whatever the occasion, it's an environment for an evening of dining, conversation, and cocktails. Whatever your needs, our staff is ready. Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon, located at the Cross County Mall, Mattoon.
Coles County man is in jail facing several child sex crime charges. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Ben Whitney.
And I'm Matthew Posner. Court records show 67-year-old Craig Chesner was charged with 8 counts of indecent solicitation of a child last Thursday. According to court records, Chesner had several conversations online with a minor or someone he believed to be a minor between April and December 2025. It's unclear if Chesner is accused of communicating with just one victim or more. Court records show Chesner was denied pretrial release and is being held in the Coles County Jail. His next court appearance is set for Monday. Former Effingham teacher and school founder returns to court. Police arrested Cody Zerwanka in January on charges of grooming and exploitation. They say Zerwanka was founder and teacher at Crossroads Montessori School. Earlier this month, prosecutors filed additional child pornography charges. Record shows Zerwanka appeared in court today and entered not guilty pleas on those new charges.
A Danville man is in jail after being arrested for a Tuesday morning stabbing. Court records show 24-year-old Anthony Turner is charged with 2 counts of aggravated battery. Danville police say officers were dispatched to the area of North Bowman Avenue and East Voorhees Street for a reported stabbing around 10 Tuesday morning. The victim was a 38-year-old man who was taken to the hospital. After making contact with that victim, police found Turner just after noon and took him into custody. Urbana police are offering a safer way to complete online transactions. The Urbana Police Department says they recently created an internet exchange parking spot for residents who buy, sell, or trade items online. The location is just steps from the police department's entrance in the 400 block of South Urbana Avenue. The parking spot is well lit and monitored by video 24/7. Police encourage residents to use the location for online transactions and say if something doesn't feel right, contact police.
Warmer today once again with high temperatures in the 50s for most of our viewing area. A high temperature of 52 degrees here in Charleston, although we did reach 57 in both Effingham and in Taylorville. Not everyone was so lucky to reach the 50s though, because some counties in our viewing area did only reach the upper 40s throughout the daytime. And as we look across Eastern's campus here in the background, we're seeing clouds beginning to clear as we move overnight tonight, and that's going to continue as we move throughout the nighttime and into tomorrow. But as we move overnight tonight, we are going to see temperatures drop down into the 30s, a low temperature of 35 degrees, calm winds out of the south that'll start to warm up our temperature as we move into tomorrow with a high temperature in the 60s. That's a first look at your Skywatch forecast. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Emily. In other news, Crawford County voters will soon decide on a 1-cent sales tax to improve schools. If passed, the proposed 1-cent county schools facility tax would charge 1 cent on every dollar spent on qualifying purchases. Purchases of groceries, medications, vehicles, and farm equipment are not included. According to Robinson Community Schools District Number 2, the money from this tax could be used for improvement and maintenance on their buildings, including improvements to the roofs, safety and security measures, and parking lots. The tax will be voted on in the March 17th primary election. Firefighters moved quickly to stop a house fire from spreading in a Champaign neighborhood. Crews responded to a house fire in the 1500 block of Honeysuckle Lane just before noon Wednesday. Firefighters reported heavy smoke and flames coming from the single-story home and deployed hose lines to keep the fire from spreading to nearby houses. No injuries were reported, and investigators are still working to determine the cause. Fire officials are reminding residents to make sure their smoke alarms are working. With winter weather rolling back into the area, fire experts say safety is key, especially for older adults. The Office of the Illinois State Fire Marshal warns older residents and caregivers to take fire safety seriously. They say heating equipment like space heaters and electric blankets can pose serious fire risks if used improperly. Experts also say adults over 65 are at greater risk of fire injuries due to slower reaction times, mobility challenges, and medical issues. Authorities encourage families to develop a support plan for their loved ones and take proactive steps to prevent tragedy.
If you see smoke tomorrow near Lake Charleston, don't panic. The city of Charleston is conducting a controlled burn Friday at the Woodyard Conservation Area and the Lake Charleston area. Officials say the burn is approved by fire authorities and follows Illinois EPA guidelines. Trained crews will be on site the entire time with fire breaks in place to prevent the fire from spreading. The city says prescribed burns are essential for restoring natural habitats and supporting native plants and wildlife. Illinois soybean farmers are set to receive federal relief payments at the end of the month. These payments are set to arrive February 28th, and they're meant to offset losses farmers suffered during last year's trade disruptions. A total of $12 billion will be available to farmers nationwide, with $11 billion being set aside for farmers producing row crops. Although the payments offer some relief, many farmers say the money is not enough, and the Illinois Department of Agriculture warns damage to key trading relationships could have long-term effects on farmers. Federal investigators say a serious workplace injury in central Illinois could have been prevented. The Illinois Department of Labor has found Illinois grain silo operator violated federal safety standards after a seasonal worker suffered a serious foot injury at a facility in Gibson City. Investigators say the worker stepped through an unguarded opening and onto moving machinery during grain bin entry. OSHA issued multiple citations, including willful violations for failing to lock out equipment and protect workers. The agency has proposed more than $276,000 in penalties. Alliance Grain Company has 15 business days to respond.
A recent fundraiser was a slam dunk for EIU women's basketball and Sarah Bush Lincoln Regional Cancer Center. The Eastern Illinois women's basketball team recently donated more than $10,000 to the SBL Regional Cancer Center as part of their annual care game. The game celebrates those fighting cancer in the community and raises funds for cancer patients. EIU women's basketball has donated more than $100,000 to the Cancer Center since 2019. SBL officials say they're incredibly grateful for the years of support. The EIU women's team plays tonight. We'll have a preview in our Sports Watch report a little bit later. But before we get to sports, it was a gorgeous day here in East Central Illinois.
Unfortunately, we won't be seeing this weather for too much longer. Emily?
That's right. The short answer is it's not going to last very long, and I'll have what's expected after a few warmer days coming up.
Pee before we go. That's sound advice, but it's also a phrase that sparked a war of words, so to speak, between a New York resident and his local DMV. In January, Long Islander Seth Bykowski received a letter from his DMV telling him his vanity plate reading "Pee before we go" had to go, saying the pithy plate was not in compliance with local regulations. Bykowski posted the letter online and vowed to take the fight to his governor, Kathy Hochul. Fast forward to this week when Hochul posted a video of a call with Bykowski telling him she was Team Pee before we go, calling the plate a public service.
Well, I'm going to get it back for you. I think everybody should be reminded to pee before you go. I have kids and grandkids, and I support the effort wholeheartedly. So I think we're going to work on getting that back to you.
That sounds wonderful, Governor.
Critics were quick to point out the timing of the teasable story, given that Hochul is up for re-election this year. But whether you think Bykowski's free speech case indeed holds water, or that Hochul is just looking out for number one, it doesn't take a whiz to see this story is making a big splash either way. Speaking of number one, congratulations are in order, according to Guinness World Records, for Fancy, a Virginia horse who, at the ripe old age of 37, has officially taken the reins as the world's oldest living horse. Born April 1st, 1988, the horse was eventually gifted to then 8-year-old Paige Bloomer, who amazingly shares the exact same birthday as Fancy, talk about kismet, and still takes care of her to this day alongside her best friend Rosie, a donkey that was recommended as a support companion for Fancy. Bloomer calls the pair two peas in a pod who spend their days soaking in the sun together. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Not too much going on in the skies above the Great Plains and in the Midwest, and that's because we have a high pressure over top of us, and that's causing warmer temperatures for those same areas. We're seeing those warmer temperatures here on our national map, and that's going to continue to move to the east. Eventually, this red color will move over Illinois, and we'll see much warmer temperatures tomorrow. And we've already seen that warm up begin with high temperatures in the 50s today, a high temperature of 52 degrees here in Charleston, but not everyone got to see the 50s with a high temperature of 48 degrees up in Champaign. As we look across Eastern's campus, we're seeing those clouds beginning to clear as we move into the evening hours. A beautiful sunset here behind me across Eastern's campus. But as we look currently, we're seeing those temperatures begin to drop down, but not by too much just yet. Temperatures currently around 52 degrees here in Charleston. Clouds beginning to clear as we move into the evening hours, and that's going to continue as we move overnight tonight. Mostly clear skies as we move throughout the nighttime, and temperatures dropping down into the 30s, a low temperature of 35 degrees, and winds blowing out of the south at 5 to 10 miles per hour that will contribute to partially to that warm up that we'll be seeing tomorrow. But before we get to that, we're seeing those clouds clearing as we move overnight tonight. A few clouds beginning to build as we move into the morning hours, but those clouds will quickly dissipate as we move throughout the daytime tomorrow, leaving us with mostly clear skies for the majority of our afternoon and evening hours. The highlight of tomorrow will be the high temperature back up in the 60s, a high temperature of 63 degrees tomorrow, partially due to those winds blowing out of the southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour, but also because we're seeing sunny skies throughout the daytime. It's going to feel warm. It's not going to feel any cooler than what we're seeing. And that's because we're seeing those sunny skies, but those sunny skies are also going to affect us as we move into the evening, allowing that heat we've collected at the surface throughout the daytime to escape as we move into the evening, which will cause temperatures to begin to drop down as we start our weekend. We'll see a high temperature of 52 degrees on Saturday under partly cloudy skies, and that drop is only going to continue as we move into the end of our weekend. A high temperature of 37 degrees on Sunday. As we move overnight Sunday, we will see a possibility for snow accumulation as we move overnight Sunday, eventually into Monday morning, but quickly clearing up. We will still see mostly cloudy skies on Monday. Temperatures continuing to drop down, though, with a high temperature of 34 degrees to start off your work week with snow on the ground. So it will be a cold and possibly snowy start to our work week. Despite that, though, we're still expected to be above average for the next 6 to 10 days. That average for this time of year is typically in the 40s. But as we look at our 7-day, we're seeing temperatures way above that on Friday, but then dropping down into the upper 30s and lower 30s as we finish off our weekend. That possibility for some snow overnight Sunday. Temperatures continuing to drop down as we start next work week. But we're going to see temperatures begin to warm up again. High temperatures back in the 40s by around midweek. A high temperature of 42 degrees on Tuesday, eventually reaching a high temperature of 43 degrees on Wednesday. But more precipitation will be on its way, this time rain instead of snow, with high temperatures in the 40s and eventually the 50s by next Thursday, with rain continuing into the week.
Thanks, Emily. I know I'm definitely looking forward to those temperatures tomorrow. A little less excited about the weekend. Looks like we've got a little bit more winter before we make it to spring.
East Central Illinois temperatures have more ups and downs than a seesaw. It is ridiculous. Thanks, Emily. Coming up, EIU basketball is fighting to stay alive in the race for an OVC playoff spot. I'll have more in your full Sports Watch report right after this.
But first, the Mattoon Green Wave and other local teams begin playoff basketball action, and several games came down to the wire. Thanks for watching. This is News Watch on WEIU.
It's been a slow start of the year for the housing market. Existing home sales dipped in January, but as the spring market begins, the National Association of Realtors expects sales to pick up. Lawrence Yoon with the National Association of Realtors says the last few years have been tough for potential buyers because fewer homes were coming on the market and there were a lot of interested buyers. That drove up prices and created bidding wars. But he predicts that will start to shift. Prices, though, have yet to come down. Last month, the median existing home sale price was just under $397,000, according to the NAR. And Yoon doesn't expect those numbers to come down anytime soon. But mortgage rates have come down, and he says that will help make homes more affordable. As of last week, the average 30-year fixed-rate mortgage was 6.01%, according to Freddie Mac. A year ago, it was 6.85%. And there's other good news. There is some concern that the drop in mortgage rates could cause a surge in potential buyers flooding the market. That's why Yoon says it's important to make sure you're in a good position to make a competitive offer when you do find the right home. Yoon recommends having enough cash to make a 3 to 20% down payment, get pre-approved for a mortgage, and make sure your credit score is good. The better the score, the lower your mortgage rate will be. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Over 250 teams walked in, but only 4 will walk out as state champions. IHSA boys basketball playoffs have officially begun for all teams, and 2 high-ranked local teams got sent packing early. Tuscola was not one of them, as one of the Class 1A 1 seeds took down Shiloh 71-56. KZ Westfield also took care of business and advances after beating Heritage 64-48. But in Class 2A, Effingham St. Anthony wasn't as fortunate and were stunned in a 50-48 buzzer beater loss to Vandalia. Finally, Mattoon's strong season comes to an early end as Civic Memorial upsets the Greenway 51-46. They finished the season with a 17-14 record and tied for second in the Apollo Conference behind undefeated Muhammad Seymour, who narrowly advanced to the next round in an overtime win over Urbana. Regional finals begin across the viewing area tomorrow. Sports Watch will have another update for you on Monday. Also topping headlines in high school sports, Charleston Trojans girls wrestler Olivia Rosine is competing this weekend in the state finals. Rosine is the 10th overall seed in the 235-pound class, takes on Esmeralda Bustamante in the opening round. We'll have the results from Rosine's state performance on Monday. It's officially do or die time for EIU basketball. The men's team needs a win to have a shot at making the OVC playoffs, while the women's team looks to go out with a bang. Both teams head to St. Charles, Missouri to face the Lindenwood Lions. The Lady Panthers have already tipped off, and Lindenwood leads by 19 at the half. Eastern is 4-25 on the year, just 1 year removed from finishing second in the OVC. As for the men's team, after a disastrous last-second loss to Southern Indiana last Saturday, the Panthers now need a win in one of their last 2 matchups, and Tennessee Tech to lose both of their last 2 contests to make the OVC postseason in Evansville. Their showdown with Lindenwood begins at 7:30. Sports Watch will have the full recap for you tomorrow. Staying with EIU, the Panthers have wrapped up the OVC Indoor Track Championships in Louisville, Kentucky, and Eastern's taken home some hardware. The women's team won 3 gold medals in the 2-day event, with Ashlyn Denny placing first in the 800-meter dash, and Abby Venhouse, who won gold in the long jump. Denny also won gold in the 4,000-meter distance medley relay, alongside McKenna McBride, Riley Borgich, and Brenda Torres. As a team, the Eastern women finished in second with 115 total points, while the men's team took home third place with 96 total points. In total, EIU track earned 14 medals in the OVC Indoor Championships. The outdoor track season begins in late March. Eastern Illinois softball is getting ready for a big weekend. The Panthers will play 6 games over the course of 4 days, beginning tonight in Tucson against the 14th-ranked Arizona Wildcats. Then on Friday, EIU will play UC Riverside and 24th-ranked Arizona State in back-to-back games. Then on Saturday, Eastern will play 2 more games against UNLV and 22nd-ranked Grand Canyon. Oh, and by the way, the Antelopes are undefeated. GCU and EIU will play again on Sunday, closing out the busiest weekend of the campaign for the Panthers. Eastern is 4-11 in the early going this season and will look to make a statement in Arizona this weekend. After a 3-week delay for the Winter Olympics in Milan Cortina, the Chicago Blackhawks and St. Louis Blues return to action tonight. Both teams will need a strong second half of the season, though, to make the playoffs. They sit in 13th and 15th out of 16 teams in the Western Conference with 25 games to go. Despite Chicago's struggles, Connor Bedard continues to shine for the Blackhawks. He's ranked 33rd in the NHL with 23 goals so far this season. They play the Nashville Predators tonight, while the Blues host the up-and-coming Seattle Kraken. The puck drops for both games at 7. The NFL Combine is officially underway in Indianapolis, and 3 U of I players will take the stage this weekend. Edge rusher Gabe Akis, offensive lineman J.C. Davis, and star quarterback Luke Altmaier are all participating at the Combine, looking to boost their 2026 NFL draft stock. Akis is a projected 3rd-round pick and led the Big Ten in sacks this season with 11. Davis is a 2-time All-Big Ten team selection, with Pro Football Focus's 3rd-ranked left tackle in all of college football last year. The biggest name of the Combine for the Illini is Altmaier, a projected 5th-round pick and one of the most accomplished quarterbacks in program history. He ranks 5th all-time in passing yards and 2nd all-time in passing touchdowns. The NFL Draft begins on April 23rd and concludes on April 25th, and the city of Pittsburgh will play host. Finally tonight, the PGA Tour kicks off its 4-week Florida swing today, and PGA National plays host to the opening round of the Cognizant Classic. Let's see where everyone stands as the first round is officially complete. PGA Tour rookie Austin Smotherman went on a mid-round tear, carding 6 straight birdies en route to an opening round 62, and he's in the lead at 9 under par. Smotherman was college teammates at SMU with 2-time major champion Bryson DeChambeau, and now looks to make a name for himself this week. Colombia's Nico Echeverria is right behind him in 2nd place after a bogey-free 63, as he keeps building off a strong 2025 campaign. On a difficult scoring day, Smotherman and Echeverria are 4 shots clear of the rest of the field. Rising Scandinavian stars Christopher Reitan and Pontus Nyholm are tied for 3rd at 4 under, alongside 4-time PGA Tour winner Daniel Berger, Taylor Moore, Jackson Suber, and 2nd-year standout Kevin Roy. A large group sits at 3 under, including top young PGA Tour winners Michael Brennan and William Mao. That's a wrap on tonight's Sports Watch Report. Ben, take it away.
Turns with a final update of the Skywatch forecast. But first, we'll take you to Philadelphia to show how one veteran police officer is passing down a family tradition. Thanks for watching. This is Newswatch on WEIU.
Hello, I'm Blake Wood, Eastern Illinois University class of 2006. I worked at WEIU Newswatch all 4 years of college and still have the collection of vintage shirts to prove it. The experience I gained at WEIU launched my career in TV news and public relations. Today, WEIU needs your help now more than ever. With the loss of federal funding, I'm asking you to join me in supporting the station. Visit WEIU.net to make your donation. What I'll always remember about WEIU are the lifelong friends I made and the professional experience I gained working at the station. It's where I anchored my first newscast, covered severe weather, and told stories that mattered to communities like Charleston, Arcola, Casey, and Paris. If you value education, local news, and local programming, please donate online or call the station. Support WEIU. Thank you.
Finally tonight, a Pennsylvania police officer is helping young students try something new. Rebecca Key Gaskins is nearing retirement as an officer with the Temple University Police Department. But lately, she's been teaching Catholic school children in North Philadelphia the basics of crochet. Key Gaskins is a part of a Cops in the Classroom program, where law enforcement officers are invited to read to students. The veteran officer says she wanted to pass down a skill she learned from her mother that's now become a therapeutic hobby. Emily Davis is back to knit together a look at the forecast for the rest of the week. Emily?
We're going to see warmer temperatures tomorrow, but they're not going to last for very long. A high temperature back up in the 60s tomorrow with a high temperature of 63 degrees, partially due to that sunshine and partially due to the winds blowing out of the southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. But as we move overnight tonight, those clear skies are going to cause that heat to escape back up into the atmosphere, and temperatures are going to start to cool down after that. High temperatures still in the 50s on Saturday to start off your weekend, 52 degrees for your high on that Saturday. But after that, temperatures are really going to start to drop down. A high temperature of 37 degrees on Sunday. And as we move overnight Sunday into Monday, we're going to see a possibility for snow accumulation. And so we start our day Monday, temperatures a high of 34 degrees to start your work week. But eventually temperatures will be warming back up again. A high temperature of 42 degrees on Tuesday, warming back up to 43 degrees around midweek, and back up into the 50s by Thursday. But rain will move into the forecast for that time.
Thanks, Emily. I know I'm going to definitely get out and enjoy that forecast for tomorrow. It's going to look like it's a beautiful day.
Absolutely. And this weekend is not as beautiful, but you know what? That's Illinois. Thanks, Emily. And thank you for joining us. For more news and weather, be sure to log on to our website at WEIU.net.
There you'll find real-time forecasts and the news video of the day.
Have a good night and see you tomorrow at 5:30 for another edition of News Watch.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection, commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.
Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon. Whatever the occasion, it's an environment for an evening of dining, conversation, and cocktails. Whatever your needs, our staff is ready. Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon, located at the Cross County Mall, Mattoon.